Where I work as one of the account managers for the East Coast region for Avolve and for ProjectDox. So today's webinar, we're going to talk about Avolve Cloud Hosting. First, I just want to let you know that the webinar is going to be recorded, and either today or tomorrow I will send out the link to everyone. So if you want to pass that on to anyone that was not able to attend today and they want to watch that, that would be great. Also, all of the attendees are in listen-only mode, so if you have any questions, if you will find over in your toolbar, there is a particular section there that is labeled questions, so you can type in your questions. They will come directly to myself. If a lot of your questions I think will probably get answered today, so if for some reason something does not get answered and we do not get to that by the end of the webinar today, I will contact you back, or one of our representatives will contact you back and make sure that that gets answered for you. So let's get started. So I just want to thank everybody again for joining us today for this webinar talking about hosting the Avolve application. So presenting today is going to be Avolve's Vice President of Professional Services, that's Bill Maselli. He lives down the street from our Phoenix NAP, actually. So that is where the hosting facility that we use is located. He's going to be discussing Avolve's fully hosted offering today, and he's going to show us a couple of clips of the Phoenix NAP. All of the Avolve staff, we've been there, we've toured. It's actually a really neat place. Hopefully that'll answer a lot of questions for you. Also, we're going to have a special guest speaker today, and that's Orion Goff, and he is the Chief Building Official and Director of Building Services and Civil Enforcement for the Salt Lake City, Utah. So recently, Salt Lake City did migrate from a ProjectDox on-premises environment, and now they are live in the hosted cloud application. So he's going to come on for a few moments and speak with us. So we thank him for joining us today. So Bill, I am going to turn it over to you and let you get started with today's presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amy. As she said, I'm Bill Maselli, Vice President of Professional Services, also in charge of our hosted cloud offering, which has been developed over the years, seeing the need for it, and we're delivering to a number of clients right now very successfully, Orion being one of them. I'm going to go ahead with the presentation now. I appreciate all of you joining the call and showing your interest. It looks like we have a lot of people on the call, so that's a very good thing. What are we offering? We're offering something that's secure, it's managed, it's enterprise grade, as you'll see, very easy to use for you. It's going to be very cost effective, cost savings, and it's going to be scalable and easily scalable, and that's the important thing. The hosting that we offer is in a massive data center in Phoenix, Arizona, which does not get hurricanes, which does not get tornadoes, does not get flooding. We get the occasional dust storm, but that doesn't blow anything over. No earthquakes. It's a very safe location. It's a wonderful data center, brand new, built within the last 4 years. Many major corporations are hosted there. Very high level of security, all the way down to retinal scans. They haven't taken any blood from me yet, but that might change with federal standards. We manage the entire application for you. When ProjectDox is hosted in the cloud, it's not like a lot of other applications where you get your login and you get to set everything up. We really take a lot of the management burden off of you in what we call the system administrator role, and we help you keep that application backed up, running, managed, and actually alerting for size problems way ahead of time before you run out of space. And changing things in the system is very easy, to add some more processing power or add some more disk. As a matter of fact, for processing power, we do that automatically on the fly. We make sure that you always have the same performance we guarantee you, and you have 99.9% uptime. Our SLA guarantees that. I'll talk a little bit more about disaster recovery and recovery times and things as we go forward. But that's basically it. We take it out of your environment. It's in our cloud. Your users still have access via the desktop. So do your applicants, and so do your permitting systems. The interfaces to your permitting systems will remain the same, whether they're premise hosted or they're cloud hosted by that vendor as well. This really allows you to focus on your core business. Many times, as we go into building departments, planning departments, engineering, they don't have an IT staff. They don't have an application they need to manage. They have building people and permitting people and people that are very good at what they do. And many of them have adapted to working with an application and being responsible for it. What we'd like to do is allow you to leverage your existing staff for what they do well and focus on your core business. At the same time, we want to reduce your capital costs of buying computers, buying firewalls, even if you're leasing them from your own data center or paying a monthly fee. That equipment has to be purchased and allocated and brought up. Your operational costs, all of that equipment has to be updated with Windows Server updates. It has to be brought up to date with new hardware, new systems. And you can see this happens on your own personal computers. And it's quite a job to keep everything at the cutting edge and up and running. And we do that for you. That's all included. We allow you to rapidly deploy and adapt. We can have the system up within 48 hours for you to start using with our best-in-class workflows. If you're a new customer, we can bring you up very quickly. If you're an existing customer, we can bring up the base system of ProjectDox in our server environment in about 48 hours, and then we bring over your customizations, your modifications, and your configurations to the system, as well as your data and your files to get you up and running. We can move very quickly. Then you can rest at night. You won't have any battles with IT departments. You won't have to do procurement. You won't have to worry at night that you're going to run out of disk space or the backups won't be sent to the off-site facility, or that the speed's not going to be there when you want it Monday morning or when the building season hits. You can be assured that your speed, performance, productivity, and capacity will always be in place. So what you focus on, customer satisfaction, dealing with your applicants, your builders, your developers, focus on making buildings safer. Let's not forget what this whole program's about. It's about building better communities, it's about building safer buildings, and it's about promoting development within your community, sound, practical, planned development. You can focus on your processes and your policies and not on software. Your turnaround times, of course, are something that you focus on. You can focus on them knowing that the software will be performing at the level that you need it to perform at. We'll focus on all of the performance and predictability so that you can sleep at night, the dependability and integrity of the software and the data, that it's always going to be there when you need it, when you want it, right and correct. And then in the rare case of a security breach or a disaster, we handle that. All of our systems run in what's called an N+1 configuration. That means if a server, virtual or physical, goes down, another one takes over immediately. It would be a seamless transition. If for some reason data was wiped out accidentally by someone or things were missing, our disaster recovery is located both online with your system, and we can move individual files or individual time periods. It's also stored off-site in another facility so that everything can be brought back if it should take another bounce. So all the same things that Amazon does, that Google Drive does, that Ignite does, that Box does, your data is safe and it's secure. Our cloud partner, which I talked about, is the Phoenix NAB. It's a very new facility, cutting-edge hardware. All the servers that we use are right up to date. Our memory is the fastest. Our disks are the fastest, if not solid state. I've talked about the geographic area. The security, those two guys on the upper right really are there. They have the largest human beings I know of there, and that's just physical security. You can't drive into the building. You can't get close to the building. Everyone's got to be ID'd with eye tags. But as we know, that's kind of the minimal part of security. The real security is in the networks and the systems and the firewalls. We use secure SSL connections. This facility is SOC 1 and SOC 2 certified, as well as PCI 2.0. which means there's yearly audits of the vulnerability and the management of the system. There's yearly audits of the antiviral systems, and all of the security is hardened on all of the components of the system. People are monitoring the system. There really is a bank of people like a PBS fundraiser down in the lower left there, manning computer terminals and phones, watching all of the systems 24/7, 365 days a year, looking for alerts that we set in the system. Those alerts can be as simple as disk space. They can be a drop in performance for some reason, at which point we move resources to give you faster performance. It can be missing data. It could be an attack on the system somehow. And they can rewire things, restructure things, and avoid that attack immediately. The next step really is you have to decide what's right for you. And that's the decision that you've got to make in this organization. How you want to move forward. Do you want to be an IT department? Do you want to be a steward of software and systems and computers and firewalls and switches? Or do you want someone else to take that over for you? Then it's a matter of choosing the plans that are right for you. We host your production system, of course, obviously. If you have non-production systems such as tests, staging, or training, we have smaller size, downsized systems that we can mirror your production system. We can host those for you as well. And then what we'll do is, once you've decided, we'll take a look at your usage and storage needs over the current coming year, as well as over a 5-year period to see where you're going to grow to. And we'll let you know what those incremental costs will be over a period of time. And they're nickels and dimes compared to buying new hard drives, getting acquisitions through your IT department of purchasing, and allowing the system to grow. And we work with you as a partner over time, reviewing your system capacities and what needs to be done. And then you choose a weekend that you want to cut over. There is some preliminary work that has to be done, but effectively within one weekend, we can cut you over to your new production system. One of the nice things is your old production system is still up and running and still synced. If something untoward would be to happen, you still have your existing production system for a period of time to use if you need to. We haven't had to do that, though. Once we've decided and we've sized things, then we start delivering. As I said, your new system would be up in about 48 hours. Then we'll start the conversion and moves of the data in your files with your IT department and your team. Once we have those moved over to our new system, we will bring the system up for your acceptance. We'll demo that all of your workflows, all of your e-forms, all of your configuration, all of your users, stamps, all sorts of things are set correctly, and then you can accept the system and we're ready to go. And then when we do the cutover on the weekend, it's as simple as changing the IP address to point at the new servers, and it's really a seamless bounce to the new system, and you can start sleeping with our cloud as your pillow. So with that, I'd like to cut over to one of our patients, Orion, who from Salt Lake City, who has been through this experience with us, was a wonderful customer and client throughout the entire process, and he can tell you a little bit about how it went for him. Orion Goff from Salt Lake City, the phone is yours.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Listen, I don't know about being a wonderful customer. I'm generally not a wonderful customer if things are not working well. So if I was a wonderful customer, that means that most likely things went pretty smoothly, and in this condition, it did go pretty smoothly. Just as some background information, we are an Acela customer, and we have about 5 or 6 servers dedicated to Acela. And then we also had servers that were dedicated to ProjectDox. And the problem that we were running into is when we did upgrades to PDox, we had a very difficult time with Avolve being able to participate, getting through our firewalls and all kinds of different things that they had set up at our IMS division. So having suffered through that a couple of times on upgrades and point releases, we started looking for a solution to that problem. And I personally think that the trend is towards the cloud. So we started questioning Avolve about getting that accomplished. And there were many questions that came up in relationship to that, you know, especially the connection that we have with the Acela. And then the other big question was about the security of the information in the storage facility. And we did quite a bit of research into that, our IMS division and their security people, and they were very satisfied with the quality and grade and ratings that that facility has. And then the Acela connection, we were convinced that that could be done properly as long as everybody was coordinating, and so the DBA for the Acela servers worked really closely with the technical staff from Avolve. And one of the things that I think really impressed me about this project is that Avolve actually employs someone who is a professional project manager, and so that person, I believe that her name was April, did an exceptional job keeping everyone on task. And we had weekly phone calls with our technical people from our IMS division and Avolve, communicating every week up until go live. And one of the things I think that's a little bit unique with us here in Salt Lake is we actually digitized our whole archive of plans and eliminated a 4,000 square foot space where we stored the paper plans. We actually digitized all those into ProjectDox. So we had a huge number of files and space that needed to be accommodated so that that would work. The other piece of it is all of our civil enforcement officers store their photos in ProjectDox because the viewing capability is so much better in ProjectDox than it is in Acela. So that was another little bit of a challenge, but we've had a smooth transition. We've only had very, very few small problems that were quickly alleviated. We've had virtually no downtime for our customers other than the weekend that we switched over, which was a 3-day weekend that was a lot of work. But since then, it's been very smooth and things to be operating well.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Many of the customers we've brought up have been first-time customers. We've converted multiple new existing customers as well, just like Orion. And we look forward to converting the people on this call. I think it's a great win-win situation for both parties.
Yeah, I was also happily surprised that our IMS division, I think, sees the vision of this. I think they see that they're not going to be writing proprietary systems or even managing those systems themselves on this huge server facility. And so we didn't really get a lot of pushback from IMS on this. In fact, they were pretty supportive to City Council when I went to the council to get the funds to make this happen. So that I think most people really do understand that this is the future, and they're willing to go there.
You know, there's a couple other things that I wanted to mention, and Orion can back this up. Your real annual cost of doing this is less than a full-time equivalent employee in your tech department, and so it's very reasonably priced, as well as the upgrades to ProjectDox. The upgrade service of applying the upgrades is included when you host with us, which is a big benefit. We coordinate when those systems are upgraded with you and plan those strategically, of course, but that's included in our hosting fees.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. We haven't actually done a cost analysis of that, but our driver really was because we wanted Avolve to be upgrading their software in their environment versus having to figure out some way to interact with our servers remotely. That really was a driving factor. And then the fact that other people have found great success in doing this was a strong motivator as well. There's a good possibility that we're going to use this as a model to do host other things in the cloud as well.
You know, there's something that I bring up often is the fact that, and I've been to a lot of municipal data centers, from really strong ones built like Fort Knox to ones that are in a room over the driveway of the building on a fault line in California. When municipalities use the fact that they're hosting it on-premise or in a data center, it's not always in a data center, a real data center. And if tragedy should strike where you live and you need to issue building permits or redo things quickly, and you're flooded or you have a storm or your building's been hit, this system keeps running. Your staff can even leave the building where they're at and work remotely wherever they need to in the case of, you know, if a tragedy was to strike in your community. So that's a benefit too. It's a scary one, but it's a realistic scenario.
Absolutely. We had several conditions where they were doing upgrades to servers that would shut us down on ProjectDox, and then we also had a situation where the backup power failed after the power went out from the public utility and melted down a couple of servers over there in our IMS division where they have those stored. So yeah, those two things will not be an issue going forward.
Yeah, we have 3 power providers going through 3 trenches into our building, as well as up to 22 data carriers coming through 22 different trenches into the building. The power is backed up 3 different ways. They have electric power, they have propane power, and they have diesel power at our facility. So if they run out of power, we've all got another problem in life to deal with. Something's gone horribly wrong. Well, you know, if anyone wants to contact Amy about deciding and doing this, that you think this is the right thing for you, we can go into much greater detail about the logistics of cutting you over, bringing you up, the timing, the costs. Amy would love to have those conversations with you, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Amy right now to kind of close.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Orion, for joining today. You know, it's always best to sort of hear it directly from one of our customers, the experience that you had. So we certainly appreciate the information that you passed on to our other customers today. So just to let everybody know, again, this has been recorded, so I'll send out a link so you can pass that on to anybody else that you want to send that on to. If you have any additional questions, I think for the most part, everybody on this call, you have my email address, you've got your other reps, Cindy Bernstein or Dave Carlson or Laura Schaefer, you know who to contact. Feel free to contact me though, and I don't know the answer, I will be sure to put you in touch and we'll get everything set up. I did receive a couple of questions, and most of them looks like they are about pricing, so I will be happy to contact you back and give you some information and price sheets and that sort of thing so that you can look over it. And then if you have any questions, you can obviously get back to me. I don't know if anybody noticed, but during the presentation I added a couple of handouts to the presentation. So over in your toolbar, there are a couple PDFs there. One is really just a marketing piece, and it's just an overview of what the hosted application is and what it can do for your particular agency, most of what Bill reviewed today. There's also a handout in there that we received. I just thought that it actually might be helpful, but if you would like to download that and read it just about where government IT departments are taking things in the cloud, that you can go ahead and download that. So if you have any questions, whether it's about hosting or pricing or whatever it may be, even if it's, you foresee this 6 months from now or you see this 2 years from now, let's go ahead and at least start having a conversation so we can start the planning process. And I just thank everybody for attending. This is also just a reminder that our PDUG 2015, I've got to plug this because Orion is on the call and Salt Lake City is going to be our host this year. So thank you guys for that. But the PDUG conference is going to be on September 16th and 17th, and we hope everybody can join us this year. So again, thank you for attending today. Have a great rest of your day.